This has been a horrible 2 days of our lives. And will forever put a hole in our hearts.
This is just some of what one grieving mother is saying after her child was hit and killed by a car. Coming up, why the family is choosing forgiveness during this tragic time.
And the city of Edison is now under investigation by the Calhoun County Sheriff. The city attorney shares how this will help improve the city's finances. Coming up next on Today in Georgia. First at 5, President Joe Biden addressed concerns in the nation about the war in Israel. A look at key moments from his address coming up.
And a little girl is recovering this morning after falling out of a moving car in Albany. We hear from witnesses who rushed in to help. Straight ahead on your 5 a.m. edition of Today in Georgia. First at 5, law enforcement is sending out a dire reminder about Georgia's move over law. Coming up, we take a look at the recent incident that is sparking the conversation around this topic.
And some South Georgia teens got a valuable lesson on how their actions can have consequences. How one event is making them think before they act. Coming up on this half hour of Today in Georgia. We begin this morning in Dougherty County, where a 3-year-old girl is recovering after a very traumatic experience.
Very is an understatement, Riley. The little girl fell out of a moving car while she was strapped into her car seat during rush hour traffic. Now this happened at the intersection of Dawson and Stewart Avenue, and a car was making the left onto Dawson Road when all of a sudden the child was flung out of the car with her car seat. The car behind that car ran over the little girl, and its tires missing her by mere inches. Bystanders quickly jumped out of the cars and rescued her. One woman even stopped in the middle of the very busy intersection so no other cars would hit them.
All I could think about was making sure that no other cars went down that road as the person jumped out of the car to grab the baby. I followed the car on into the parking lot to make sure that the baby was okay.
I didn't think she was going to make it. I thought we were going to be picking up a lifeless little girl.
According to Albany Police Incident Report, the girl's parents told the police that the girl somehow managed to unlock the back passenger door and her seatbelt while the car was in motion. The report listed the little girl in stable condition, wishing her a very speedy recovery.
That's right, Madison.
And
That's
thank
very
goodness
scary.
for those bystanders too. Mm-hmm. Very scary situation. Now we're going to switch gears here. U.S. Senator John Ossoff of Georgia is making efforts to stop the opioid crisis right here in the state.
He'll be delivering $7 million that will go towards state and city resources. The money will also go to the Georgia Criminal Justice Coordinating Council to prevent and treat opioid addiction across Georgia. Dougherty County EMS responded to over 100 opioid overdoses this year alone, but the director says prevention and treatment resources are still needed.
There's a lot of dangers. The more we can educate people and get people into rehab and treatment to get them off of this terrible mess is the best thing that can happen.
And that's why I'm working so hard to deliver them. That's why I worked to pass the Rural Opioid Abuse Prevention Act last year. We are seeing a significant increase in overdose associated with fentanyl and other opioids.
Funding will also be used to conduct a statewide action plan and evacuation led by the Georgia Statistical Analysis Center.
The metro Atlanta area received what is considered heavy rain for them, and that resulted in flash flooding. Now on your screen, this video, you're looking at 2 men who were waiting to be rescued after they got stuck in floodwaters. Atlanta city officials say they conducted a total of 32 water rescues, and one university experienced flooding as well.
Wait, our whole building just flooded. Our foot is stuck in the door. The fridge is against the door, so we can't push it out.
Pure chaos at Clark Atlanta University after floodwaters made its way into its dorms. Students were left scrambling to get out. Cars stuck in the floods are now littered with debris and dripping with water and mud. And this morning, students say they are just trying to figure out a new mode of transportation.
I'm a college student. This is my only means of transportation. I don't know what to do from here. This happened last year, but it didn't happen to me. So I suppose, it's a different feeling once you experience this kind of situation.
The university says they are helping students move to new residence halls. Last night, a meal donation drive was held for students who were affected. They were given supplies, clothing, and were treated to pizza and soda. And making national headlines this morning, the United Auto Workers Union has officially gone on strike. Now, the deadline to reach an agreement passed at midnight. The three companies involved in the strike are General Motors, Ford, and Stellantis. UAW's president Sean Fain says the companies bumped up their offers for wage increases, but that there's more that needs to be discussed between them. Fain says the strike happened because the big three waited until the last minute to begin negotiations.
Day one, we've told these companies, we don't expect them to delay and drag things out, and that's what they chose to do. We didn't want to be here. We want a fair agreement. We want fair economic and social justice for our members. That's what this is all about, and it's a shame. They've drug it out. They waited till the last week, so here we are. We got to do what we got to do.
Workers walked out of three plants: a GM site in Wentzville, Missouri, a Stellantis center in Toledo, Ohio, and a Ford assembly location in Wayne, Michigan. We'll definitely be keeping our eyes on this as it continues to develop. And over in Lowndes County, an everyday traffic stop by law enforcement led to the arrest of an internationally wanted suspect.
That's right, Madison. He faces multiple charges along with several traffic and narcotics violations. Lowndes County Sheriff's Office arrested Travis Moss, who originally gave deputies a fake name when he was pulled over. According to officials, he's wanted in multiple areas around the globe, including the Bahamas, Broward County, Florida, and Orange County, Florida. The Fort Lauderdale Police Department in Florida says he was wanted for the deaths of 17 Haitian migrants and an unborn child. Moss has also been charged with forgery, giving false name and date of birth to law enforcement, and fugitive from justice. Switching gears to Terrell County now, Michael McCoy is now the county's administrator. If you remember, he held the same position here in Dougherty County, but was fired.
And he has since filed a lawsuit against the county's board. And in an update, McCoy is still looking to be reinstated right here in Dougherty County. According to an ante-litem notice filed back in July, McCoy is seeking $5 million from the Dougherty County Commission Board collectively. Now, Dougherty County Chairman Lorenzo Hurd said in a commission meeting that McCoy would be paid through the rest of the year according to his contract. However, according to McCoy's attorney, that's not the case.
Mr. McCoy had a contract that the county has refused to honor, so basically he has to work. And secondly, under Georgia law, you have a duty to mitigate your damages, and this is a part of that mitigation until he's reinstated.
McCoy is now 2 days into his new job, and he says he's just glad to be back doing what he loves.
It has been very warm, welcoming, and I have been embraced and supported, and I greatly appreciate it, and we look forward to being successful here.
There could be more lawsuits coming against the 4 individual commissioners who voted to terminate him 3 times. Now you can catch up on this story over on our website at WALB.com.
And you can expect some relief at the pump starting this afternoon. Governor Brian Kemp is suspending the state's gas tax as a part of an executive order. It begins at noon and ends on October 12th, and the gas tax suspension should save drivers on average 31 cents per gallon of regular gas and 35 cents per gallon of diesel.
Across the nation, a new feature is coming to the rideshare service Lyft. Now check this out. It will allow women and non-binary riders, to choose a preference for drivers of the same gender. The service is called Women Plus Connect, and it's rolling out in the coming months. Riders can turn on the option in their Lyft app, and both the rider and the driver have to opt in to feature the feature for it to work. Now, riders must choose a gender as well, and however, Lyft says it's not a guarantee. They'll be matched with a woman or non-binary person if one isn't nearby. The company says this feature was highly requested and believes it will help women and non-binary people feel more confident using Lyft and encourage more women to sign up to be drivers.
And we begin this morning in Fitzgerald, where a small plane crash leaves 1 man dead and another in the hospital. Fitzgerald police say they responded to the crash on East Sewanee Street near the Monitor Drive intersection Wednesday afternoon. Fitzgerald police Chief Bill Smallwood says the plane had 2 male passengers. The Ben Hill County coroner identified the man killed as 68-year-old William Sumner. Sumner passed away shortly after being taken to the hospital, and the second man was life-flighted to a hospital in Tallahassee. No homes were damaged and no one else was injured, and one resident says she thought the plane flew away before realizing it crashed.
I heard an engine over my apartment real loud, you know, like it was cutting off. But at the time, you know, I said it got quiet at the time, so I thought the plane had left. And then I came to the door and looked out, the plane had crashed.
The FAA and the NTSB are investigating the crash, and we will update you as we learn more information.
Thoughts and prayers are with the families of the victims there.
That's right. Now, moving to Lowndes County, some Valdosta State University students are living in hotels as they continue to wait for housing.
That's right, Riley. I almost jumped the gun there. They were supposed to move into student housing complex last month, but the property has pushed the move-in date back several times, and they've done it once again. Magnolia Reserve told students the original move-in date would be August 1st. However, the property owners now tell us that the date has been pushed back further due to Hurricane Idalia. The complex has provided students with hotel accommodations and a $200 stipend, along with providing storage. However, residents are still required to pay their full month's rent.
When September 1st came around, they were still asking everybody for full month's rent, knowing that we were still living in these hotels. So I didn't think that was fair at all. It's stressful.
Property owners say they have been in contact with Georgia Power and contractors to get power supplied to the complex. Now they're also waiting on water meters, and a move-in date has yet to be set.
Now we're on day 2 of the 45th annual Sunbelt Ag Expo. Looking back at day 1, a farmer from Arkansas was crowned the Farmer of the Year, and when asked how it felt to win, here's what he had to say.
Well, it's overwhelming, honestly. You don't know what's going to happen. It's very, very humbling in that you're competing against 9 other state winners from the Southeast. Somebody wins, but there is no losers because their operations are incredibly impressive.
Cobb says it's one of his biggest joys is seeing his grandchildren working and playing on the same farm he grew up on. Congratulations to him. And Governor Brian Kemp was there for the first day of the Ag Expo. And when we spoke with him, one thing he mentioned is that Georgia's #1 industry is agriculture.
That's right. I actually had the opportunity to speak with the governor there, and he was praising that agriculture is the #1 industry in the state. And being here in South Georgia, we've obviously seen how hard farmers work. So I had the opportunity to ask him what his plans were to keep agriculture the top industry in the state. Here's what he had to say.
Well, continuing to diversify our economy, grow our state, making sure that we're making investments in all parts of our state. If you look now at what we've done on rural broadband, it's incredible to see, to support those farmers, but also support the other things that they need in rural communities, like medical facilities, good schools, good job opportunities.
Now, Governor Kemp went on to say that while the state has done a lot to increase the agriculture industry here already, there's still a lot more to do.
Some superstars stopped by Lee County on Tuesday. Leesburg native Luke Bryan, along with his American Idol co-judges Lionel Richie and Katy Perry, stopped by to hold auditions for the upcoming season.
You could just feel the excitement throughout the Doherty Lee County area. I don't know why I was trying to do that, but I did. And the city held a parade in their honor, as you could tell from your screen. Hundreds of people came out to show their support, and in our next half hour, be sure to stick around because we will hear from residents who attended all the festivities and get their reaction to it.
And in consumer news, Apple has unveiled the iPhone 15 lineup, and the new phone ditches the Lightning connection in favor of a charging cable that's compatible with non-Apple products. The iPhone 15 also features an expanded dynamic island tool that is home to alerts, notifications, and other controls. The 6.1-inch iPhone, let that sink in, 6.1 inches, iPhone 15 starts at $799. The 6.7-inch iPhone 15 Plus starts at $899. The new phone comes in pink, yellow, green, blue, and black. I think they're all pastel colors. Like the green, I think is going to be shown here. Yep, it's a pastel. All of them are pastel colors. I think they're really cute.
Yeah, they're really cute. What I'm really curious about is how is it going to fit in our pockets?
Yeah, that's not going to fit.
Is it like a mini iPad?
Probably.
But I want what is there something about the camera quality? Like I always get amazed every time about the camera quality on these iPhones.
Me too. I do a lot of TikTok research, and I'm not sure if the camera quality is going to be any better than the iPhone. What's mine? I have a 13.
We'll research with Riley. We'll have to get back to that soon, okay? All right, folks. And coming up in sports, the Bulldogs are off to an undefeated start.
Our very own Aaron Mukes previews their matchup with the Gamecocks coming up next.